we're tasked today with building a number guessing game. My bad, 1 second. Nope, wrong one. CD number. I'm gonna start my live server. Okay. Okay. Oops. Okay, so when the application loads, guys, I want you all to console log the computer's guess because we don't want to waste time. We want to be able to confirm what it is. That's the first requirement. That's an internal thing, okay? What are the requirements? The user can see the number of available guess. They can enter a number 2 guess. They can click a button that says guess. When they click this button, we should see a prompt which tells the user whether or not they guessed too low, too high, or correct. Additionally, for every single guess, we want to see a record of those guesses right here, right? So if the computer can only guess numbers 1 through 100, right? And I put in like this big ass number right now, what's it going to say? Too high, right? And in fact, it does say too high. And our number of guesses did in fact reduce, right? So what if I guess -1? Too low. Okay, and it also in fact recorded our guesses. Okay, lastly, the last proof of concept. Number 35, we click guess number. And we can see that we're prompted that we won the game within 3 guesses. How many guesses did this take? 3 guesses. So I can confirm that our guess right here is correct. Okay, so now let's do something more interesting. Not more interesting, let's just do it all from scratch, okay? So where am I at right now, guys? What does this look like? It's just a folder. It's a folder on my computer that holds a whole bunch of files. Actually, not a whole bunch of files, it holds 3 files, okay? There's 3 files here. One day you guys are gonna create programs that hold hundreds of files, potentially thousands. Actually, no. When you guys get into React, it will hold thousands of files, okay? The vast majority of them you will not have to touch, but some of them you will. And as your program grows in complexity, you will have additional files. So I'm gonna move up 1 directory, okay? I'm sorry, this is a review. I keep seeing a couple of mistakes. I wanna start over. So where am I at, guys? I'm on my desktop. I'm in a folder called El Captain. I have some folders in here. Number guessing is where I previously stored everything. I'm gonna start over from scratch. So I'm simply going to remove everything in this folder. So now if I type in ls.al, I can see that I'm missing what? Number guessing, right? Number guessing no longer exists. So what do we need to do? Let's go ahead and create a folder that's going to hold this application. This folder simply holds the application. So I create the folder. Am I done here? No. I need to move into this folder. Okay? Now what do I need to do? I need to create all these standard files right here, okay? We're gonna have an index.html, a readme.md, a scripts.js, a styles.css. I hit enter. I now need to open up my tools. I'm about to do surgery. I'm a doctor. I need to have my tools out. What tool am I going to need to write code? Okay, I could run code dot right here. But to demonstrate that we're simply using a code editor, I'm just gonna open up the VS Code. Okay, so now we've got a brand new code. Whoa. I think it automatically opens the most recent one. So I'm gonna do open, new window. And I'm gonna open a folder. Which folder do I wanna open, guys? Currency converter? Number guessing game. So go to our desktop, go to El Captain, we'll go to number guessing game. We're preparing our tools for work. Before I do surgery, I need to make sure I know where all my knives are. Got a little knife for this, a little knife for that. I don't know, I'm not a surgeon. I don't know what kind of knives they got. They got all types of knives, I can promise you. Okay? So, let's go ahead and look in our index.html. What do we have in here, guys? Nothing. So what can we do? We can get a template, okay? Every single web application in the world has this in it, okay? In this index file. This tells us a lot about the application. You don't need to memorize what all these do, and I don't want you to. I want you to copy it. We'll paste it in here. We'll change the title. We'll say number guessing game. Number guessing game. Okay, we'll give ourselves an H1. Someone give me a color.
Red.
Okay, red. Okay, so what can we do now? Let's go ahead and test. Let's go ahead and open up our server. Let's kick it off. So if everything went well, I should see red. And I, in fact, do see red. So what's the purpose of this week? Learn JavaScript, right? So we need to import some JavaScript to our index.html. How can we do that? I don't have to. I can just delete this right here, right? Right? There are many ways to do this. That's not wrong. That's the best way. What Sean just said is the best way. I need to create a folder. But to prove that this works, I'm going to go ahead and open up our script.js and run console.log orange pineapple. Okay? I refresh the page and I look at the console. And do we have orange pineapple here? We do have orange pineapple. So we can confirm that line 1 inside of script.js did in fact fire. Right? And when did it fire? It fired when we loaded our page. Okay, so what was the objective here, guys? What are we doing? We're having a number guessing game, right? Where the user needs to input some data, and then we need to read that data. How can we do that? We need an input. We're not going to call their phone number in order to get them their number. They need to be able to type something, okay? So we're going to create an input element, okay? We're going to give this an ID because we're going to need this. We're going to need to be able to identify this input element momentarily. So we're just going to say guess input, okay? You can call it whatever you want. I think guess input seems like a reasonable name. Next, we need a button. What is the responsibility of this button? To tell us when the user is ready to submit. What does that mean? If I jump over here right now and I start typing, am I ready to submit? I don't know. What if I want to delete? So we need a button. That's what UIs are. They're buttons, they're radio boxes. There's a whole bunch of different things that it could be. But most commonly, they are buttons. Okay? So let's go ahead and add our button and we'll say guess, take a guess, make guess. Okay? So we got our button. When I push this button, I don't see anything happen. I don't know what's going on. We need to prove that we know we can recognize when the user clicks this button. Okay? So let's start small. Let's not even worry about the code. Let's just make sure we can pay attention when the user clicks a button. That's all I want right now. So in our button, we're going to attach an attribute called, look at this. Our VS Code is suggesting what things we can do. Specifically, I want on click. Okay? Now I'm simply going to say guess. Can you guys see my screen? Guess. I'm just going to call it guess. I don't like this variable name, to be honest with you, this function name, guess number. So let's call it guess number. So now we're going to start small. We're just going to define a function called guess number. We're just going to console log guessed a number. Okay, so we refresh. We see orange pineapple is still here. That's coming from line 1. If we click this button, it did not work. What happened, guys? Very simple. I did not save the file on the left. Okay? That's why we're taking it one step at a time, guys. If I click it now, I can see that every single time I click this button that I registered that event. We know that when the user is clicking a button and we fired some code right here. Okay? Obviously, we can get this button to do anything we want, right? And that's why I tried to show you guys earlier where you can find females, find males, etc. But for this contrived example, we're just going to look at one value and then do some operations on it. So what are we going to look at, guys? What's the point of the application? We got to constantly be thinking about what the application is doing. The application is saying, hey, we're going to allow the user to guess a number, and we're going to compare that to a number that we generate. And then we're going to tell them if it's too low or too high. So now the problem becomes, how can I get that number? Well, where's the one place that a user is entering information for us? Are they writing us letters? Are they faxing us? Are they text messaging us? No, they're looking at our screen and they're typing in stuff. That's simple. They start typing something in here, okay? So how can we extract this value? Well, let's go ahead and try it on the console just to prove, okay? Just to prove that we know how to do this. So let's say Superman is gay. So how can I get what's inside of this thing right here? Well, I could run some JavaScript. I could do get element by ID. What did we call it a second ago, guys? Guess input. If I hit enter, I see that we did in fact find it. Our JavaScript is not complaining. It's saying, hey, I found it. But we're not interested in the element in and of itself. We're interested in the value that is inside of this. So I go press up, now I press value. And I can see that when we find this element and we look at its value, do we get the correct value? Yes, we do. I promise you this is where this is coming from. 13. Someone give me a number. I run this again. We got the number. Okay? So, because we proved that this works, we can just copy this. We'll paste it over here, and we'll say const user guess is equal to blah. Okay? That code right there. We don't need to know we just need to know how to use it. Okay, so now what is the next problem? Okay, so we successfully were able to grab a user's input. Now we need to compare it to a random number. So, how can we get a random number? The truth is I don't remember this code. Okay? And I don't expect any of you guys for a year to remember this code, or 2 years, or maybe even 5 years. Yeah, I don't expect you to. I don't want you to. That's a waste of your brain power. I want you to know where to find the information that you need. JS, generate random number 1 through 100. And we're just going to look for it documented somewhere, okay? We're going to look for it on the internet, and then we're just going to say, hey, I can use this one. Right here. Integer from 1 to 10. And to prove that this works, what are we going to do? We're just going to test. Okay, what's the numbers that we wanted, guys? So putting our brains on this, we can just add a number. There we go. That's simple. All right, so we got this code right here. This generates a random number. When our application first loads, we already want to generate that number. Okay? We're going to go ahead and generate it. So we say const computer. Okay, random number is equal to that thing right here. Okay? So watch this. So to confirm that what's going on is what I think, I'm going to console.log. We say the random number, and then we do the same thing with the user guess. Okay? So we're console logging 2 values now. Let's go ahead and remove this orange pineapple. Okay? So now we're console logging 2 values when the user fires this guess number function. So refresh, I type in 1, 2, 3, I hit make guess, and I can see that the random number was 5, and the user entered 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now it becomes, how can we compare 2 integers using JavaScript? If, that's all it is. It's an expression. If, parentheses, because that's how JavaScript is, that's the syntax. Random number, let's compare it from the user. If user guess is greater than random number, what happened? What should we say? We should say too high. And in fact, actually, my bad, guys, my bad. I also, fuck it, I'm gonna do it this way right now, and then in a second we're gonna refactor it and show the guess, okay? I wanna keep it real simple right now. So if the user's guess is higher than the random number, it's too high. If the user's number is lower than the random number, it's too low. And if the user's number is equal, it's correct. Okay, so now, just to prove that this works, I'm gonna console log on line 3. Okay, we're gonna console log this number, okay? Save it, and let's go ahead and delete these. I want you guys to constantly be console logging and deleting as you go, okay? Because if you see all the console logs, like 20 of them, you're gonna confuse yourself. I get confused when I see that, so I know you guys are gonna get confused. Okay, so let's refresh. The number is 77. If I guess 76, it's gonna say too low, right? If I guess 78, it's gonna say too high. And this is in fact saying too high. If I guess 77, it's going to say correct. Okay, so what was the requirements? What were the requirements? We also want the user to have a finite number of guess, okay? So we're gonna define a new variable, number of available guess equals 5, okay? So now we're gonna say, hey, If the number of available guesses is equal to 0, we're simply going to return. We're going to say nothing else executes. Okay? And at the very end of our function, we're going to constantly remove it. Remove 1. So watch this. I can click this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I click it this time, nothing is going to happen. There's going to be no alert. Or, my bad, this one? Whoa, did I say this? If you just save. Okay, I'm gonna do 3. Okay, I'm gonna do 3 because I want to be quick. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Interesting. I think I need to move this one up. I think the alert is fucking up this right here. Let me think about this. Guess number available guess minus equals 1. Oh, my bad. If it's less than or equal to 0. I think that should be it. We just do 1, okay? Let's just let the user guess 1 time, okay? So we're gonna guess 1 time. Everything goes okay. We guess again. What the fuck? Move this up here. Come on, baby. Assignment to a constant variable. Oh, my bad. Fuck. No wonder. Okay. The reason why this was going on is because I was trying to assign to a constant variable. This is not allowed. You cannot assign to a constant variable. So let's refresh. I should be able to guess 1 time. We guess. Can we guess again? We cannot, in fact, guess again. Okay? Right? That's because right here we have this variable called number of available guesses. Right? How many times do we allow the user to guess? 1. Right now is 1. We're going to change it back to 5. Okay? Now we're going to make our prompt correct. Number of guesses equals, number of guesses is 5. Okay? We save it, refresh, and we see number of guesses right here. My bad, wrong place, my bad. Make guess. We'll do this up here. Refresh. We see number of available guesses. I enter 1, I guess. Okay, it's too low. But now, notice that this number did not change. Right? So what can we do here? Well, we can add an ID to our prompts. And we're just going to call it prompt because that's what it's doing. It's prompting the user as to what is going on, what the state of the application is. Right? So now we can do document.getElement by ID. And we're going to add this to 3 different places. Except we're going to change it to inner HTML. Okay? This is something we memorize. Okay? Now we're going to say guess to hi. And then we're going to concatenate this string with number of available guesses. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing except for guess too high, guess too low, guess too low. Okay? So now we refresh our page and we guess. I suspect that it's going to prompt us and change this number. So I'm going to guess. Did this not work? Save, keep doing that. If I type in 1 and I guess, number of available guesses less than, why is this not working? Okay, I'm gonna restart. Say again?
Delete everything?
I mean, that's possible, but right now I think I got what it takes to do it, fix it. So let's do it. I don't even know if this button's firing right now. That's the truth. I don't know if this button's firing right now. So let's go ahead and make sure this button is firing. We'll console.log, delete everything. Okay, I need to see this fire. So we're gonna refresh, we're gonna type in some stuff, we're gonna guess. Okay, we probably should not be deleting everything. Interesting. Why is this not working, guys? Someone help me out here. Come on, guys. I'm not seeing any document.getElement.id. Okay, let's see this. Oh, my bad. I didn't change this. Okay, we gotta change guess input right here. There we go. We save. Now watch this. We guess too high. It says we guessed too high. That did in fact work. So let's go ahead and clean up our output a little bit. Right, we're gonna add this to some parentheses right here. That should be a little bit easier to read. So if I guess 1 time, this should become a 4. Oops. That didn't work, guys. Why'd that not work, guys? Because we have it -1 before. Okay, we need a -1 immediately upon them entering it, okay? So there's so many different ways to do this. This is just, I don't know, we're making it up as we go. So we save, we refresh, we guess. I guess it's going to be a 4 right now. And it was a 4. And what's our number? 27? So what happens when we guess 28? It's going to say too high. Nice. Nice. Fighting. Okay? All right, so we're going to delete this prompt because we know that it's expiring. What's the next thing we need to do, guys? We need to list all the guesses that a user could potentially have. So we're going to define a new variable. We're going to call it guess. And we're going to set it as an empty array for right now. And then every single time we extract a guess from the input, we're simply going to push this value into our array. Okay? So what's that mean? It means that our array of guess will constantly be added. They'll always get longer and longer and longer and longer. Okay? So we're going to save it. We're going to save it. We're going to refresh. I'm going to type in 1, click guess. Okay, so this array went from, hold on, let me show you. We'll copy this right here. Copy this one, copy that one. So when the application first loads, how many elements do we have in our guesses array? 0. The user hasn't guessed yet, so exactly, it should have nothing in there. So whenever I type in 1, how many should it have afterwards? Okay, so we do in fact have 1 element in here. If I click it again, we have 2 elements in here. And obviously, if I could do it 1,000,000 times, and it would continue adding elements, okay? It's going to continue adding elements to this array. So how is that useful for this exercise? Well, one of the requirements is that we have a list of guesses that the user has made. So now we're going to enter a UL in our HTML. And the reason why we're doing that is because this is where we're going to stick the guess. We're also going to apply an ID here. Guess history. Okay? So we copy this right here, and somehow we need to stick something in there. So we can do document.getElement by ID. We can pass it the ID that we want. And we can do inner.html equals hello. Okay? So if I save it, I refresh, I guess. What did it do? It complained. It did not know what guess history is. It's because I did not save once again. Okay, we're constantly fighting this battle. So let's go ahead and enter a number. Let's make a guess. And we got a hello here. But that is not good enough, guys. What do we want? We want a bunch of numbers there. Exactly. We want to append it. So now we're just going to Google append lijs. I'm going to do this more complicated because I want it to look pretty. That's all there is to it. Okay, we can see an example right here. This is all it is right here. So we're just going to copy this over. And actually, before you guys do that, you guys can look at the example right here, okay? Before appending, after appending, right? So we'll try it for ourselves. We're going to hop over here. Notice how there's coffee and tea right here, right? This button, try now, is going to append it. So we click it. We appended it. Okay? We can do this as many times as we want. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can simply loop. We go over our guesses, .map, and what each time that this function fires, what is the argument that is given to it? What is inside of guesses, guys? A guess. That is what's inside our guesses, our list, our array of guesses. There are guesses inside there. So we're going to define this anonymous function, okay? What do we want to do in the body of this anonymous function? We simply want to append this node. And we'll clean up these comments. Okay, so if I save it, what's going to happen, guys? It's not going to work. If we use the document.getElement by ID, which thing are we interested in? Okay, so we need to replace this. What else do we need to replace, guys?
Water.
Yes. Okay, but let's make it not work for a second just to prove something, okay? So we're gonna refresh. We'll hop over to our number guessing game. We're gonna guess. We're gonna guess. We're gonna guess. Okay? It's a bunch of guess. But now the problem is we don't want water in there. What do we want? We want the actual guess, right? So we refresh, we hit this button to make a guess, and it attaches, right? Well, watch what's gonna happen now. When I click this again, it's gonna do 3 times. There's a subtle bug here. The bug is that we're constantly adding to this list element from the beginning to the end. If I were to click this again, we're gonna see 6 total. Exactly, and it's doing it multiple times. We're gonna see 6, I think. Yes, and this time we're gonna see 12, etc. So the objective here now is that before we append, we need to clear out everything that's in this list. And this is a common design pattern that you guys are going to see in programming. Okay? So before we get to that step, we're going to do document.getElementById, guess history. We're going to say its inner HTML is an empty string. Okay? So we save it, we refresh, now we enter 1. Oh, my bad. Wow, I guess right. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, so we enter 1. And then every single time I enter it, it appends. Dope. Why is this, Oh, yeah, my bad. Thank you. I wrote code and I didn't even remember I did it. Okay, guys, do you have any questions so far? Right, pretty simple, right? We got a couple files to work together. You know, they're part of the same gang. Someone drives the car. Someone holds up the gun. They all work together to make, you know, to do things, right? This is our team. Our index.html is driving the car or something. I don't know. It's a team. These files are working together. That's all we need to know. We need to know that they work together. And I think that we got all of the, we got one more thing here. The truth is we need to also prompt the user when they won, okay? So we prompt the user, say, you won. You won. So we refresh, our guess is 84. If I type in 81 or 84, I hit make guess, it says you won. Amazing. This is amazing. Okay, one more requirement. How can I start over? Well, we can just add another button. What's this button gonna do, guys? Restart. Reload, restart, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna give it a different function because the fact is that this button's doing something entirely different than the other button, right? So we're gonna define a new function called restart. And what's this function going to do? What's the one thing that's controlling the number of guesses? What variable is doing that, guys? Exactly. So we're simply just going to set the number of available guesses back to 5. Okay? And specifically right here, random number, we also, like, reset game should also generate another number. You know, if we start over, we should not, you know. So we're going to change this to let, and then we're just going to copy this line of code here. Right? So now whenever the user clicks restart, it's going to restart the number of available guesses as well as the random number. So refresh, I enter something, it's back to 4. Where's my button? I didn't save it. Okay, there we go. We enter a number, we make a guess, here's 4. So here's one more bug, guys. I'm gonna show you one more bug that's gonna happen, okay? We're gonna make a guess, right? Notice that the random number here is 57, okay? Oh fuck, I forgot the console log, my bad. So right here, we also did not draw this again. We did not tell the user what number they have, right? Right? But let's go ahead and console our number of available guesses when we click this button. Refresh. I guess 1. I guess 2. I reset this game. So the number of available guesses is back to 5, and our random number went from 40 to 20, right? So we successfully got our random number back, but we did not update the UI. What can we do here, guys? Just do what we've been doing, right? Do document.getElementById, number of available guesses, right? So we can say document.get element by ID. We can say, what is it again? Prompt. We can say inner HTML. Is it inner HTML? Yep. Is equal to what? What's the first thing we do? I'm just gonna stick in this string right here, okay? So now if we refresh, let's give this a better name. Reset. Okay, refresh. I have 5 guesses. I make a guess. I have 4. I make another guess. I have 3. I make one more guess. I have 2. If I reset, I want to see a different number. Also, I want to see the number of available guesses rise again. So I click reset. There we go.
Can you make this again?
Yeah. So there's obviously a lot of other things we could go wrong. What else should we have done right here? Okay, so that's also very easy, guys. What did we do a second ago? We just emptied it right here, right? We just emptied it. Right here, refresh. I hit 1, 2, 3. I reset. It disappears. This is a dynamic web page, okay? There's no website in the world that you guys spend more than an hour on that doesn't do something kind of like this. It adds some stuff, it removes some stuff, it changes colors, etc. We need to be able to filter data, sort data, etc. There's so many other things that these concepts will be useful for. But the objective here is to know that JavaScript can handle all types of use cases. It can add, append, extract, etc. And know that our UIs are going to be composed of prompts. They're going to be composed of buttons. They're going to be composed of inputs, etc. And then we're starting real small. Okay? So, do you have any questions? All right. You guys keep going.